Hello, I'm MBX and welcome back to an episode of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the Let's Play where I've been playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the Xbox. That is building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And today, we're going to be doing something that's a little bit constructive, actually. I know I've spent a lot of time working on the brand new Wooden Mansion build. I'm still liking that, I'm still streaming that, it's still going on. But something that I really wanted to do because of TU60, which I even forgot about, because I was mostly just excited about, like, look, it's TU60, I have fireworks and stuff on. But no, today I wanted to do something that's kind of like, I guess, related to armor stands, the TU60 feature, because I figured now we have armor stands that are, useful and stuff, why not actually build some in my survival world? I do not have a single armor stand in this world, if I'm not mistaken, and I actually have the perfect place, which makes just amazing sense, or like, I feel like perfect sense, to put all that things in, because I have a museum. The museum's meant to be like a collection of everything in Minecraft, and given that, or like everything that I'm going to get in Minecraft, and I figured that would be the perfect place for me to go make some armor stands. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you will enjoy the episode, but let's get straight into talking about, by the way, my Elytra's dead, so we're walking there. It feels weird, like, after all of, it's only been out for, like, a year now. I think exactly a year and, like, 2 weeks. But having the Elytra in Minecraft makes me just feel like, doing things slower when I walk places. Like, I think the Elytra has spoiled me a bit, like, ugh, I guess I'll walk the whole 300 meters or whatever. I won't just fly with fireworks. Because if you get a good fireworks stash and you get enough Elytras, it's fairly easy to just kind of ignore the whole thing. So, there you go, there's a thing. And also, I guess I have to work out to repair this thing soon, because it's going pretty close to death. So, yeah, we'll work that out in no time, I'm sure. We'll get that fixed up. But for now, we're going to be working on the museum, and also, I'm going to be telling you what I'm up to in this past week. And let me just clarify, I hope my voice is noticeable, but I'm like the tiniest bit sick or ill, which, I don't know if the word ill is used outside the UK, but I'm the tiniest bit, like, sick. So if it does sound different, then just pretend that I'm, like, a robot or something, and that this is just me doing some clever roleplay. There you go. That's what's going on right now. You all see it. It's all perfect. But let's actually talk about what's going on today, because like I said, we've got the huge museum here, which is always in a perpetual state of unfinishedness. Like, it's almost like uglily, is that word? Unfinished, where it's like, I clearly started and then kind of stopped. But today we're going to be trying to refurbish it just a little bit, make it look just a little bit nicer, and hopefully have this all tie in some way. So let's first of all make some armor stands. I don't think I've ever made them in survival, but I think it's made from stone slabs, i.e. these things, and then also some sticks, but we'll have to wait and see. I've got the wood in case it doesn't, so let's go make ourselves some slabs. I guess we should have, like, checked the recipe first. Let's go to armor stands. Okay, so it's 5 or 6 sticks, and then 1 slab. So if we have 49 sticks, that means we can make, I guess, like 7 separate armor stands. Just like that. Or 8, apparently, because my maths is bad. So, yeah, that means we have 8 armor stands. I realistically didn't even need that many, but I guess now we have them. And we can go place them down and work out what's going to go on each of them. So, I brought myself a bunch of diamonds today, because one of the things I want to show off in my, my fancy museum is actually going to be like a set of diamond armor. I was considering enchanting it too, but like, maybe don't do that. But yeah, that means we can have like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. They perfectly fit if I go 1 gap between them. Or if I could go further back into this corner, you can see how it goes out another extra block. And then there's the wall here. If I do that and have the wall be back here, then I could have a 5th armor stand, and I could show off every type of armor, like chain, gold. Actually, there might be a 6th type. I think, wait, there's chain, there's gold, there's leather. There's 6 types. There's 5 types. Sorry. So that means if we just go out 1 more block and we have the wall be like here somewhere, then we can have, like, again, if I do this right and I make sure they face the right way, we'll have 1 be here, 1 be here, 4, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I messed that up entirely. So that I thought I understood what I was doing here, but I did not. Also, yeah, so the really crazy thing about armor stands, though, is the fact that they don't really care about where you place them. In terms of, like, we can actually, this whole place is covered in carpet. I brought some wool with me, which I can turn into a carpet. But the crazy thing about them that you're perhaps not familiar with. Also, we only got 30 carpet from. Okay, whatever. I mean, but if you look, you can actually place carpet like around the armor stands, and then you can specifically, if you know what you're doing, you can just place the armor stand on the carpet, which means you get this nice blending effect that you can't otherwise get, because armor stands are an entity, not a block, so they don't really care about block rules. And personally, I think that's cool and like usable in some way, and maybe you agree. And as you can see, it means they spawn in the air a bit, but then we have a nice little white carpet underneath them, which maybe later will turn into like a red carpet to highlight them or something. But for now, we're just meant to have a, we wanted to have a carpet going along the thing, and we've got a carpet going along the whole thing. So there we go. Now it's perfectly spaced, and as long as we do this corner right, which is going to be tricky, but as long as we do this corner right, it's going to be just wonderful. So yeah, what I've been up to in this past week, besides pretending to be a robot and or being sick, because those are both fun things. What I've been up to this past week is mostly, because by the way, this is like kind of an awful thing, It's mostly actually like been the whole Christmas thing. I've mentioned this several times before, but like Christmas is the one time of year where as soon as Christmas Day comes along, I feel like you kind of have to take it off. Otherwise, you set the precedent for yourself that like, oh yeah, Christmas, I don't have to take it off. I can not do that if I need to do something. So I was like, okay, even though I really want to make videos, and truthfully, definitely like Christmas is like the time of the year where secretly I do want to make the most videos. But yeah, like even though I wanted to make videos, I was like, okay, let's chill. Let's give myself at least 3 days, 25, 26, 27, and let's just do that. And I think it's honestly, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and this is like a really specific like concern / issue, but like when you do something that you really love but then that you have to do to some extent, so YouTube, I love it, it's the best thing I do in the world, but it's really important to force yourself to take breaks sometimes, because you might I think to myself all the time, like, I like it, why am I gonna stop doing this? But then like taking breaks from anything always makes you realize how much you love it more when you get back to it. So that's something that's important, and maybe if you do something you like every day, then it's important to realize why you like it and maybe just take a break or something. Or if you don't care, then don't do any of that. But that's just my pro tip that I've learned right there. So I'm gonna go make myself some diamond armor. I think I am worth it, and then I'll put these armor stands somewhere else in the museum, like I don't know where, like maybe in one of those little item frames there, or maybe we'll just throw it in the middle of this room next to like this wall here, because we've got modern art, we've got gravel, and we could have on the other side of it an armor stand, and then put something ugly on there. Again, we can decide on that later. But yeah, let's now make ourselves some armor. I have literally just diamonds on me, so just diamond armor. We can make some leather armor if we can find some leather, which there's leather everywhere in my world, so I should be able to. But for now, let's go ahead and let's craft ourselves some diamond armor. I don't think I've ever done this. I've never just legit gone out and crafted armor before. It feels a bit weird to do this. It feels a bit like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. But yet, here I am just about to do it regardless. So I'll craft everything besides the leggings and the boots. I think I have those on the other side of the world, and it hurts me too much to like actually spend diamonds on all these things. So I'll go find some armor on the rest of the other side of my world, and that can be my challenge today, actually, like getting a fully clothed Elytra man, and fully clothed armor man. And in fact, I also want to have an Elytra on one of these, because I want to show off like a bunch of just different mini impressive things. So that's what we're going to go do today, and because it's like getting dark, we'll do it in the dark, because I can't fly, and that's just how things are going to go. So yeah, the walk there is going to give me a good opportunity to talk about, so again, besides the fact that I've been like mostly doing a lot of stuff like watching Black Mirror, but I've said that too much. I worry I'll tell people how much I like Black Mirror too much. Like, it's just one of those things like, oh, we get it, Toy Cat, it's a good TV show. But like, I don't think you do get it. I don't think you realize just how good Black Mirror is. If you're thinking, oh yeah, it's just a TV show, it is so much more than just a TV show. But again, I'm not going to preach too much about that, but instead, I'll just say that I watched all 6 episodes when it first came out. It's funny, in my head, because Netflix does the what's it called, the binging model, where you can just be like, okay, here's the new season, you've been waiting for the season for a year, have all 6 episodes, so then everyone's just like, well, I'm going to watch all of them literally this very moment. That's and that's what happened with Black Mirror at the very least. And yeah, so I was like, I'm going to try and save these episodes 1 a day. And then 2 days later, well, I watched all of them, but at least it didn't take me 1 day. There's the extra day I did right there. And I know it's interesting that we're at this point where like some YouTube channels and some TV shows like Black Mirror, they feel like a really precious dessert to me, where it's like, you've got to savor these. It's like, you can only have so much dessert on your plate, or at least, I mean, maybe you can have all the dessert you want if I don't know your circumstances, but most people can only have so much dessert on their plate. You can only watch some of these shows, and you have to kind of like value it in some way, which is something that's that. So yeah, anyway, while I was at my family's for Christmas this year, we play a bunch of games and stuff for Christmas, but also just like being around people. Sometimes I'm like, I need to just take a small gap here, and I'm just gonna chill a bit. That's just what I do. Maybe you think that's weird, maybe you don't think it is, but it's something I like to do from time to time. So I was like, okay, I'll go to sleep at like 1:30 instead of whatever time people sleep on Christmas. And I actually decided to like, I see a bookshelf here. Let's read this, because I found a series of unfortunate events, and I read the books again, even though like as a kid, like they seemed like they were like super. I don't know how to describe it. They seem like they were adult books. As an adult, I mean, you can see how they're like super short, super condensed things. Oh, look, lots of pork. We also need to get a bunch of leather and iron if we can, and also gold. I don't know if we can find those last 2 things. Oh, we have the iron, so we'll find enough of this, I guess. We have an entirely broken Elytra in there, which I don't want to use, but it's nice that we have it. And then I'm going to take this Elytra because it's enchanted, so it looks great. And we'll take an enchanted bow as well, because I've got one on me, and this is just worse, so easy stuff. And then also, we're going to try and find all the enchanted armor I have. Okay, this was enchanted. I think the mending boots are better than these, so we'll take these instead, and then we'll take this. And I think I need to like use this elytra to heal myself anyway. And then I also probably want to use the with skeleton skull, and then also I probably want to use one of these swords. Like this is so good, I don't want to use this for that. So yeah, then I guess we'll just like I don't know, take a shulker box. Shulker boxes are rare and cool, right? And we can put that one with their hands. Yeah, we'll have, so yeah, I think we've got a good set right here. I think we're just about done with what we can find. And then we just need to take some leather, and then we'll run back with it. So 24 leather, so you take 20, and then you take just 4 more. Pro tip, it's 24 for a full set of armor. That's like one of those like tiny like Minecraft trivia things. It'll be with me until I die. There's 24 of that. But yeah, so a series of unfortunate events. It's a book I decided to read because it's a series, and I always read, I read like the first book, the second book, the third book, and then because I got the 10th, so fun story, like for some reason, a teacher I barely knew, she nominated me for some award, and I got the 10th episode of that as like, again, the reward. I don't know why, I never really spoke to that teacher, and like most teachers don't really, notice me at all, that it's, but my point being is like somehow I won a book, and that's why I started reading from the 10th. I was like, well, if I got this book, I might as well read it. And then I read from like 10, 11, 12, 13, and that's just my knowledge there. So I figured, let's go back and let's read what happened in the midtime, because they make so many references to past books in that series, and it's like, I'm going to finally do this. And one of the things I found to be fascinating about the books is that even though, again, like I said, like you can clearly tell they're aimed at like teenagers in some way, it's the fact that they include so many smart things that like, again, they're true, and they kind of like, they're foreshadowing things you'll realize in the real world. Like, so for instance, I read the 8th book. It's blue. Maybe you know it. If you don't know it, then don't worry. I'm not just gonna talk about this one series without you. But basically, it's called like the Vile Hospital, or the Vile. I don't know what it's something. It's the something hospital. They all have alliterative names, so it's like the H Hospital. But basically, and then in that book, they're like, oh yes, so their names have been published as murderers in the local newspaper, and everyone's like, well, it says it in the newspaper. It must be true. And it's like, oh yeah, some people aren't evil. They just trust the newspaper too much. And then there's a few other things of just like, oh yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to rock the boat too much. I just like leaving things how they are. There's just so many tiny things where you're like, whoa, that's like, they're making like, clever observations on how humans, act kind of stupidly, or kind of like probably wrong. And they made observations on that, and I was like, that's a good thing. So pro tip, if you are anywhere under the age, or even if you're over the whatever the, but I'd recommend reading the series of unfortunate events books, because the show doesn't quite get the same thing across. Like, it's the same story, but they miss out on all the clever like things you'll learn about the world. Whereas the books, I felt like they had like a lot of things where you're like, oh, ha 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 ha, or whatever. And maybe that's the emotion you want in the world. Maybe it's not, but it's something I think I should mention regardless. So I don't know why I have this like random square thing here, but I guess we'll like just chop it off and make it look like it's normal for some reason. And then I guess we're going to have another one over here too. Again, I'm not sure what this is really doing here. I guess it's just a square room that exists. So we'll, I guess we'll just stack up to there. We'll leave this like this, I guess. And there we go. So things are looking slightly nicer in the museum. We got a few more places we got to like really work out what's going on here. But yeah, in general, could be worse. And given that could be worse is our high standard for today, that's a thing that's going on. So yeah, one other thing I was thinking about, because this is something I guess you get to experience to some extent as a YouTuber in the comment section, because a lot of people read comments as if like, or like comments, I guess. Yeah, I guess it would be commenting comments, as if like the YouTuber whose video they're commenting on will never read the comments anymore. And I thought this is like a really odd trend on YouTube. I guess enough YouTubers just ignore their comments. And honestly, if you are a YouTuber, I would recommend ignoring comments, because the amount of like just ridiculousness you'll find in there in terms of like people who just want to take, like, it's people come up with a conspiracy theory about how like, oh, you forgot to do that so you could like trick people to doing this, and it's like, no, that's how titles work on YouTube, or like, this or that. There's just so many ridiculous things you'll see in the comment section. And yeah, again, it can be actually like a really like damaging, it's probably not the right word, but like, anyway, wait, I didn't want to put it on, I wanted to put it on the, I guess they're both the same amount of damage, so it doesn't matter. But how do we, I heard you, okay, there we go. So as you can see, we've got an Elytra man. You can't put armor and an Elytra on an armor stand. I secretly wish you could, but you cannot. So I guess we'll replace this with the enchanted one. Oh, you can't actually see the enchanted difference. Interesting. Then we'll put that on there, just because like I can't deal with that right now. Then we're going to have to use our power 1 bow, because of course he's got a power 1 bow. Then we're going to give him like a wither skull maybe. And there we go. As you can see, this looks perfect. Then we're going to put our boots and our thing on here. It's sad that you can't see they're enchanted. It's almost a waste of the enchanted stuff, but whatever. That's how we're doing things. And then also we want to have a leather set of armor and an iron set of armor, which we'll have right here. In fact, I'll dye the leather at some point, but that's the thing that's going on there. But yeah, so I think it's kind of crazy that like you get to experience how people talk about you when you're not around in the YouTube comments. And I feel like this is like one of the most valuable things you could ever have in life that no one gets to experience in real life, right? Because it's just rude to talk about someone, you know, in real. You have to talk nicely about people. But wouldn't it be wonderful if, like, everyone could just, like, be like, okay, let's be honest here. People say this about you. Or, like, you know, not even like that, because that sounds, like, terrible. Don't you hate it when you realize that, like, someone... Like, this has happened to me so many times where it's been like, oh, yeah, this guy just said this, like, disparaging thing, even though you were friends or whatever. It's like, wow, you could have just said that, man. But, like, anyway, my point being... is I feel like that'd be like one of the most valuable things you can learn from people is like what they're saying about you when you're not there. And I've always wondered secretly, like, why is that? Why is it not like an acceptable thing? Just be like, look, tell me what you're secretly thinking here. So yeah, what we want to do here, by the way, is I want to have some chain armor on him, I guess, like some chain boots maybe, and then that could be like a fully completed thing. And then also, I guess really he should have fireworks, shouldn't he? And then I want to give this guy a diamond sword. We could make one for him, or we could just give him a diamond actually. That's like pretty cool by itself, right? Like, he's the diamond man, and then we'll work out what we'll give to each of these guys. Wait, let's give this man an armor stand, because that's me right now. Actually, I'm wearing diamonds, and then we'll work out what's going on here. But yeah, so in general, we got a pretty good little set of armor stands. I think we're just missing white wool, so I think that should be my key priority now, because the only thing making this room look truly ugly is the fact that there's no real walls, which maybe there should be, and also, you know, let's use this just to test, you know, simulate the way it would look. I think we should have a wall going along here, so we can have a different inside to a different outside, and then we'll like cut across there too, and then that can be my wall. Easy stuff. But yeah, this year has been one of the best years for my life. I think 2017. I'm hoping 2018 is like just as good. The whole like again, there's been like a billion different things going on this year. But I think the end of the year is the time you're most thankful for the things you have. You know how Americans have this thing called Thanksgiving? Again, I have no real concept besides TV shows. And they're just like, I want to be thankful about cheese. I love that cheese exists. And I think we should... I think we should all appreciate it a bit more. You know, that's just an entire like holiday that Americans have, right? I was thinking like, you know, I feel like Christmas is the true Thanksgiving or whatever like Thanksgiving's meant to be, but like the true time to be thankful, because it's the only time where everyone just says, look, no, there's no excuse, you take this time off. Even like flights for some days just are cancelled. I think there are some flights to and from places on Christmas Day, but they're like cheap and they're like you can't really do like tourist things or whatever. So if you wanted to go somewhere, you couldn't. Like, it's just like the world sends you the signal, go hang out with your family. That's what everyone else is doing. Go join in the cool kids. And yeah, having time to just like reflect and appreciate is something which is surprisingly underrated in my opinion. So yeah, what is my whole point with today's Let's Play? Well, first of all, I want to know what you think about my museum, as it turns out. Did he drop coal? No, he dropped Lauren Flash. So yeah, the kind of moral of the thing here is like, I'd like to know what you think about my museum. Do you think that what should I do with those armor stands I'm using? Should I dye the armor? What color? You know, I've got to decide on all these things now. But then also, as well as that, I'd love to know. Okay, we're gonna get so much coal, by the way, because I'm running out of coal everywhere. Like, I'm not cooking food just because I can't find the coal, and I also need to make torches for the desert, so that's always good. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, yeah, and then also, I feel like this is the time where you go like, well, you know, I'm thankful about this, but I also think, okay, this is one of the most important lessons I wish the world had taught me. But you know when people say like, oh, it's important that you do this, that you're you know, they talk about some vague concept like being thankful. I wish someone had told me like, you know, if you don't feel thankful, that's fine. Whereas people are just like, no, you will find something to be thankful about, and you'll pretend that you care about it as much as I care about my thing. Because, you know, people pretend like their insights on the world are like the most important thing. And yeah, I guess my point today is that you should find something to be thankful for if you have something. And if you don't, then, you know, I think it's... yeah, actually, let me just make one more point today. Because, like, it's that time of year where people are going to make, like, huge overgeneralizing points. And they're going to be like, well, it has to apply to you too, because it applies to me. No, the truth is everyone experiences the world differently, including you. And sometimes things are good, sometimes things are bad. but to expect them to be the same as everyone else is wrong, which is why even if some things make you bummed, just realize there's a lot of better stuff coming in the near future. So anyway, there's a little cool little lesson at the end here, because that's something that's always annoyed me throughout my whole life, where people are just like, it's the same thing. We used to have to do something called evaluation, where you had to like look at what you'd done and then evaluate how you could have done it better or worse. And I'd always just spend the whole time being like, what am I going to make up to talk about? You can't force people to be introspective. You can't force people to realize what they like more or like less and stuff. Yeah, that's a lesson that I wish someone had told my teachers, because like they were always like, no, you've gotta, without evaluation you can't leave the room. And it's like, okay, I was literally making mistakes on purpose so I could make my evaluation easier at that time. I was like, oh yeah, I should have prepared better, because I didn't write anything before this. And then sometimes I'd be really clever. I don't know if this is a thing every school did or just mine, but like whenever like they'd force me to evaluations, I'd be like, I wish I had done my evaluation better. I get really meta and be like, yep, the real issue of this project is that I did not evaluate it very well, and that led to many failures and perhaps many future failures. So I really like getting meta and like doing the minimum possible way you can pretend you're being genuine but you're not. And I guess because of the cleverness of the way like the school system's set up, no one can tell if you're doing that. Anyway, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. I know it was a bit all over the place, but it's New Year's Day. Go enjoy the 2018 with your family. Not with this chicken, but go enjoy 2018 with your family, I think, or like with your friends, or with your world, or by yourself, or with Minecraft. Whatever you gotta do, enjoy 2018, I guess, because there's a whole nother year coming for us. And one thing about my life I've noticed is that the years get faster and faster and faster. So that's probably going to be true for you. If you think 2017 took a long time, 2018 will take statistically a little bit less. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.